Good day everyone. Our group will discuss all about motivation. Motivating involves inspiring or encouraging individuals to take action or pursue goals. It's about understanding what drives someone and using that knowledge to stimulate their enthusiasm and commitment towards achieving specific objectives. Effective motivation often requires tailoring strategies to individual needs and aspiration. Next one is motivation. Motivation is like the push or reason that makes you do things. It's why you decide to do a task like studying to the test or going for a run. Motivation can come from inside you, like wanting to feel good or achieve the goal, or from the outside, like getting a reward or praise from the others. It's what drives you to act and keep going. Next is the stages of motivation. First one is activating. This is like the spark that starts everything. It's when you feel the urge or desire to do something. And for example, you might feel motivated to start a new hobby or improve your skills at something. Next one is sustaining. This stage is all about keeping the motivation going. It's like keeping the fire burning after you've lit it. This can be challenging, especially when things get tough or boring. It involves staying focused and committed to your goal. And next one is the directing actions. This is where you put your motivation into actions. You direct your energy and efforts towards specific activities or tasks that will help you achieve your goal. It's like using the energy from your motivation to actually get things done. And next is factors contributing to motivation. Willingness to do a job. This means how much you want to do something. If you are really interested in a task or feel it's important, you're more likely to be motivated to do it. Next is self-confidence in carrying out a task. This is about believing in yourself. When you feel confident that you can do a task well, and you're more motivated to start and keep going. Next one is satisfaction. This is the good feeling you get from doing something. If a task makes you feel happy or fulfilled, you are more likely to be motivated to do similar things in the future. Next one is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is a theory in psychology that explains human motivation through 5 levels of needs. At the base are basic needs like food and shelter, which must be met before higher level needs like love and belonging can be pursued. As one moves up the hierarchy, self-actualizations or reaching one's full potentials becomes the ultimate goal. Next slide. One basic premise is important to remember with regards to Maslow's theory. A fulfilled need no longer motivates an individual. If this is the situation the subordinate is in, the engineer manager must identify an unfulfilled need and work out of the scheme so that the subordinate will be motivated to work in order to satisfy the unfulfilled need. Next is the Hesberg's two-factor theory. The two-factor theory is one developed by the Frederick Heisberg, indicating that a satisfied employee is motivated from within to work harder and that a dissatisfied employee is not self-motivated. Next one is expectancy theory. Expectancy theory is a motivation model based on the assumption that an individual will work depending on his perception of the probability of his expectation to happen. Next slide. Expectancy. An expectancy is a belief about the likelihood or probability that a particular behavioral act, like attending training sessions, will lead to a particular outcome, like a promotion. Valence is the value an individual places on the expected outcomes or reward. The valence is the value, like I said, individual places on expected rewards or outcomes. The difference between expectancy and valence are the concept in motivation theory. Expectancy is about how much you believe your effort will lead to successful results, like thinking it's thinking, if I work hard, will I actually achieve what I want? Valence, on the other hand, is about how much you value the reward or outcome. It's like asking, do I really want what I'll get for doing this task? So expectancy is about your belief in success, and valence is about how much you care about the reward. Next is the expectancy theory of motivation, often called the expectancy model. Suggests that people are motivated to do something if they expect their efforts will lead to good performances, and they value the reward tied to that performance. This theory breaks down into 3 parts. Expectancy. First part is expectancy. Expectancy is where the belief that more effort will lead to better performance. Next one is the instrumentality. Believe that if you perform well, you will receive a desired outcome or reward. And last part is the valence, the value you place on the reward or outcome.
Now we have goal setting theory. Goal setting refers to the process of improving performance with objectives, deadlines, or quality standards. In goal setting theory, we are inputting standards or criteria of our job performance with benefit to your goal, in which it sets you to overcome or go beyond your limitations. Next, we have goal. We have goal following standards that you should set to your goal. First, the goals must be attainable if they are to be set. Then, we have goals must be stated in quantitative terms whenever possible. Next, there must be a time limit set for goals to be accomplished. Lastly, the more relevant the goals are to the company's mission, the more support it can generate from various levels of employment in the organization. Then, we have the goal content. It is to be sufficient in content. Goals must be challenging, attainable, specific and measurable, time-limited and relevant. Next, we have goal commitment. When individuals or groups are committed to the goals they are supposed to achieve, there is a chance that they will be able to achieve them. I know someone in college who's still confused and not committed with the course he's taking. And I can see how he puts minimum effort into his performance in complying with his work. Well, that just reflects how well you are focused and clearly see yourself in the future when you know what your goals are and how well you commit yourself to it. Next, we have the work behavior. Goals influence behavior in terms of direction, effort, persistence, and planning. When an individual is provided with direction, performance is facilitated. In work behavior, this just explains that when you are aiming for something, you know which direction or what decisions you should make in order to achieve that goal. This just says that when someone has a goal, you know where and what you should be doing right now. Next, we have feedback aspects. Feedback provides the individuals with a way of knowing how far they have gone in achieving objectives. Feedback also facilitates the introduction of corrective measures whenever they are found to be necessary. In feedback aspects, in every decision you make, you should always look for feedback because it gives you ideas on how to improve that decision and how well it may affect your performance. It explains that feedback will serve as your corrective measurement for something you miscalculated. Then we have motivation through job design. A person will be highly motivated to perform if he or she is assigned to a preferred job position. The first requisite, however, is to design jobs that will meet the requirements of the organization and the personnel who will occupy them. In motivation through job designs, it just asks the questions, am I right for the job? Or does the job position benefit the organization in which my contribution will affect majorly in the progress of the business? Then, next we have fitting people to jobs. In fitting people to jobs, first we have realistic job previews. The management provides honest explanation of what a job actually entails. Then, we have job rotation. People are moved periodically from one job to another. Lastly, we have limited exposure. A worker's exposure to a highly fragmented and tedious job is limited. Then we have the fitting jobs to people. First, we have job enlargement. Two or more specialized tasks in a workflow sequence is combined into one single job. Lastly, we have job enrichment. Efforts are made to make jobs more interesting, challenging, and rewarding. Then we have motivation through rewards. Rewards consist of materials and psychological benefits to employees for performing tasks in the workplace. Properly administered reward systems can improve job performance and satisfaction. In motivation through rewards, just like in gamification, if you had your IT era in college, in which the gamification, the concept of gaming is applied to the learnings in school, which it uses games to inspire the students in cooperating with the activity, and in that game, it uses rewards to symbolize how well your performance is, and on the other hand, those rewards inspires those second place or below ranking students in performing better for the next activity. In the categories of rewards, we have the extrinsic and the intrinsic rewards. In extrinsic rewards, those which refers to a payoff granted to the individual by another party. Examples are money, employee benefits, promotions, recognition, status symbols or praise, etc. In intrinsic rewards, those which are internally experienced payoffs which are self-granted. Examples are a sense of accomplishment, self-esteem, and self-actualization.
For the next slide, management of extrinsic rewards. Number 1, it must satisfy individual needs. There are different needs for every people. So, for example, primary needs are food, sleep, water, and shelter. For the secondary are psychological, such as achievement and desire for power.
So basically, this is a combination of intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. Number 2, the employees must believe effort will lead to reward. So for this, yung reward na tinutukoy is yung rewards such as 13-month pay, vacation trip, sick leave benefits, insurance, and etc. So number 3, rewards must be equitable. So based sa outcome of your work, whether nag-fail or nag-succeed ka, dapat same yung level ng reward na matatanggap mo. Next is rewards must be linked to performance. So this motivates the employees to work harder to achieve greater rewards. So next slide is motivation through employee participation. The specific activities identified where employees may participate are as follows. Number 1, setting goals. So kailangan ma-implemented na solid goal na na-visualize ng employees for a greater chance of success. Number 2, making decisions. Making decisions must be not an individual role. Dapat binibigyan ng chance yung employees about their opinions and also for the sake of unity. Number 3, solving problems. So you have to let the employees to have the opportunity to voice out their concerns or their way of solving problems para ma-assess kung ano yung pinaka-effective and magkaroon ng approval sa lahat ng participants. Last is designing and implementing organizational changes. So like the other 3, active participation of employees in designing and implementing organization changes will result in strong connection and participation among others. So for the next slide, quality control circles or QCC. A method of direct employee participation is the quality control circle. The objective of the QCC is to increase productivity and quality of output. It consists of a group of 3 to 10 employees, usually doing related work, who meet at regular intervals to identify problems and discuss their solutions. So this is like forming a different group kapag may assigned project. May creatives group, documentation group, technical group, and etc. So of course, hindi mawawala yung leader. But as the definition says, democratic processes, they still work as a team where individual suggestions and opinions ay nabibigyan ng pansin. And especially, the members are trained in various analysis techniques by a coordinator. So for the next slide, self-managed teams. Also known as autonomous work groups or high-performance teams. Self-managed teams take on traditional managerial tasks as part of their normal work routine. So self-managed teams occurs kapag na-achieve ng workers yung certain degree of discipline. So when this happens, they are considered ready for forming self-managed teams. The self-managed teams work on their own, turning out a complete product or service and receiving minimal supervision from managers who act more as facilitators than supervisors. So this self-managed teams, as the word implies, hindi na kailangan ng maigpit na supervision dahil nagain na yung trust ng supervisors based sa professionalism and performance na pinapakita nila. Ang tendency is nakakatipid yung company for supervisory cost. So for the next slide, requisites of successful employee participation program. So to succeed, an employee participation will require the following. Number 1, a profit sharing or gain sharing plan. So in terms of gain sharing, this is a reward directly related to improvement of employees' productivity. So on the other hand, yung profit sharing naman, ito yung compensation na matatanggap ng employee based sa earnings ng company. Number 2, a long-term employment relationship with good job security. This is similar to extrinsic rewards na na-mention ko sa previous slides kanina. This is basically based on benefits and security. Number 3, a concerted effort to build and maintain group cohesiveness. Employees must have what it takes to build a united group. Primary examples are teamwork, cooperation, and communication. Number 4, protection of the individual employees' rights. So without employees' rights, employers could mistreat their workers, pay them unfairly, and fire them without a cause. Kaya it is one of the most important things to fight against injustices and make sure they are treated with respect. So for the next slide, other motivation techniques. The advent of theories on individual differences in the biological clock of human beings put pressure on the engineer manager to adapt other motivation techniques whenever applicable. So since iba't iba nga yung source of motivation of every individuals, other techniques are proposed. So the first one is the flexible work schedule. There is an arrangement called flex time, which allows employees to determine their own arrival and departure times within specified limits. For example, an engineering firm may allow one group. One group is 8 a.m. is scheduled for 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. working hours. Another group is from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. But there are certain benefits offered by flexible working schedules, and hindi siya applicable sa lahat ng situations. Nakasalalay pa rin yung decision nyo sa manager. The next one is family support services. Employees are oftentimes burdened by family obligations like caring for their children. Progressive companies provide daycare facilities for children of employees. So one good example is a multinational company in Davao. Nagbukas sila ng elementary school and high school within the plantation site. So because of that, mababawasan yung worries and makakapag-produce ng magandang performance yung workers nila. So the last one, motivation technique is the sabbaticals. A sabbatical leave is one given to an employee after a certain number of years of service. The employee is allowed to go on leave for 2 months to 1 year with pay or to give him time for family recreations and travel. So basically, a sabbatical is a rest or break from work. So in summary of our report, motivation is the management action of giving employees reasons or incentives to work or to achieve organizational objectives. Motivation is a process of activating behavior, sustaining it, and directing it towards a particular goal. So with that concludes our presentation. Thank you all for listening.